we're the Stretchable Electronics group at JABIL, and this is our project.
My name is Marcus.
I'm Jordan.
I'm Juan.
And I'm Eric.
So like Jordan mentioned, we were doing stretchable electronics was our focus. So first we started with kind of looking at how stretchable electronics are done traditionally. What's it like today? And as of today, if you go over here to our background, stretchable electronics, the interconnects within them have to be patterned in a certain formation. So we've got like a horseshoe or a zigzag formation. Otherwise, when they're stretched, it'll just break and open circuit. And if it open circuits, obviously it's no longer any good. But that's also kind of a misnomer. Like it's not really stretchable electronics. It's more or less extendable electronics. So we wanted to take on the challenge of actually designing a project that was a stretchable conductive polymer. And I will pass it off to Jordan, who will explain a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so one of the ways that we wanted to increase the use of this conductive polymer was to make the conductivity higher. And a way to do that we found in literature was using an ionic salt. So we used PEDOT PSS as our screen printable formulation, which was the ink, and then we added the lithium-based salt to that ink, and then we screen printed it. And so a little bit more about that process, what we did. So we had to create a stencil like this, and so we had each individual coupon, and so we would load the screen into the printer and put the ink down, and then we would go across and the squeegee would print the ink onto our substrate, and our substrate was thermoplastic polyurethane. And so after that we would cure it, and then we would have to cut it, and then we had these samples here. And so what we had to do with that was to put copper wires onto the testing pads, so when we loaded it into the Instron, we could be getting the mechanical properties in percent strain and the resistance as we did that. And so now I'll pass it off to Eric, who will talk about the results.
So for our testing, as probably mentioned before, we did tensile testing and cyclic testing. For our tensile test, we saw that PEDOT PSS with our lithium salt additive was able to withstand up to 50% strain without failing, while our PEDOT PSS without it in the blue was only able to withstand about 18. This is an average change in resistance over strain, and we also see that there's a big jump in the resistance and the change in resistance right at the 18% mark, whereas the dope PEDOT PSS is able to withstand up to the 50% and keep a low resistance. As for the cyclic testing, this is one for PEDOT PSS, and it shows how unstable it is. You can't really tell that we did it through 10 cycles. And when you look at the dope PEDOT PSS, you see how you can clearly see the different cycles that it was loaded and unloaded. We also plotted a resistance versus strain similar to like a hysteresis loop. And we do see a jump in the beginning of the first cycle, but then you see how it stabilizes after the first cycle. And it really stabilizes after 5 cycles. The conductivity was slightly better. This was limited by the amount of salt that we were able to add, which we would have future recommendations for. And Juan will talk about the results and the discussion in the future work.
So from the results, we noticed that the PSS had a more resistance than the PEDOT PSS, and then so because of the additive in the ink and the cyclic test they were more very in cycles because the resistance had very extended here.
Are you joking or serious?
Take more than double one. And then for our conductivity readings, we we saw that the conductivity had a value of 0.02, which is statistically significant, meaning that the doped PEDOT-PSS was significantly more conductive than the doped PEDOT-PSS when it was added in the mix. One of the things that we wish to do in the future is to add more dopant to the PSS. In the literature, it was shown that they use 60% of the dopant against 40% weight of the PSS. When we tried it, the ink turned way too watery, and which made it very difficult to screen print. One of the other things to do is to print the substrate is to use thicker traces. Also, so you use a different mesh size and mesh count to see how much that affects the emulsion of the ink. And we would also like to do some environmental tests on our samples, and that's leading to add more electrical components to it. And I would like to acknowledge everyone at SJSU and everyone here at JABIL for the hard work, my team. Thank you very much.